So hello there. Perhaps before you started watching this video, you already answered the flowchart in your Schoology account. And if you will notice that there is no correct answer there, or technically there is no correct answer that the person or the Schoology showed you. So let us discuss regarding the interactions between these economic agents. If you will remember from the video of Ray Dalio, he said that transaction is actually the building block of the economy. So technically, everything is going to do the transaction in order for us to make the economy work as a well-oiled machine. And then he said in the video that there are three economic agents and that are actually doing a lot of transactions. And these are the household, the firm, and the government. In the activity, there was a hint that there are five economic agents for us to really understand the holistic transaction of the economy. So let's begin with a household. So I will just write household as this HHLD, and then we go to the firm. Okay. In order for us to understand it better, we go first with what will be the transaction of household to firms, or what do household give to firm? Well, technically, the household are the ones supplying the land because sometimes they are actually buying lands from individual people. Also, household are supplying the labor. Technically, the four factors of production is being supplied by the household. There are also the capital because the raw materials, for example, and the entrepreneurship. Okay, because entrepreneurship is actually a person that is part of the household. That's why household is the one supplying the entrepreneurship. The other one, okay, the other one is what we call, I think I'll use blue for consistency. Okay. The other one, or that is also very important with the interaction of household and firm, is because household are actually consuming, or they're actually spending in order to in order for them to have profits, or actually they're consuming the products of the firm. So in return, what will the firm give to household? Well, because they're giving land, they're giving labor, they're giving capital, and they're giving entrepreneurship. Of course, if the household will give land to the firms, they're actually giving rent. Okay, giving rent or paying through rent. And if the labor is actually being supplied by the household, they need to be paid through wages. If it's capital, there are interest payment. And if it's entrepreneurship, there is profit. Okay? So another one that is actually worth noting, and we should not forget this, is actually firms, because household are actually consuming the goods of the firm. The firm must in return deliver those goods. Delivery of goods and services. Okay. Now, in an economy, that's actually how it works. Okay. But there are other economic agents. So for us not to be confused, let's just try to say this is one unit of transaction within the economy. In a simple economy where there is no government, only firms and household are the one transacting. But away from the two assumptions, there are also banks. We do transact to banks or other financial intermediaries. We have the government. Well, this can be mixed, but for simplicity, let's just follow how it actually looks like in the Schoology exam. And then we have the rest of the world, or just let's just say the world because I don't have any more space. So household and banks do transact, sorry, household and firms, they do transact with banks. Okay? So what do they give to the banks? Of course, household and firms will give their savings to the banks. And in return, banks must give them interest payment. Okay? Of course. That's why you're actually saving for you to earn more. On the other hand, on the government perspective, both household and firms, they are giving taxes to the government. And in return, that's the reason why you have to be very, you have to demand more to the government if they're not doing what they need to do because you're paying taxes. So under taxes, the government, if you're paying your fair share, the government must spend. Okay? Government spending must be done, and that is through creation of roads, infrastructure, or other things. For example, if they have to create other jobs, but it depends on the philosophy. But technically, let's just be safe: creation of public goods. Okay, when we say public goods, these are goods that are actually used by a lot of people, by technically all of the people, regardless of classes. Now, on the other hand, the household and firms also give something to the world or to the other countries. And what do they give? They actually give their import dollar spending. Meaning that, of course, if you will pay something in Amazon, for example, if you're going to buy something, you have to pay them with the imported product. So that's the reason why you're giving them a payment for the products that you had outside your particular country. And in return, the world will give back to both household and firms. They will be giving back their export earnings. Okay. So technically, that's how in microcosm, that's how economy actually works. So in reality, if we are trying to create a circular flow model, it's more than the five economic agents. But for simplicity's sake, we actually looked at how all of these important five economic agents do transact. So this is actually important because it divides now two ideas of economics. One is it actually looks at the microeconomics, wherein there you are studying the economics. You're studying within the household and the firm. While on the other hand, if you will account the household and the firm as well as the other one in the set, for example, in the banks and government, you're actually studying macroeconomics. Now, it's very important for us to understand the difference between micro and macroeconomics. This actual framework is what we call the circular flow model. Again, I repeat, This framework is what we call the circular flow model. It shows us actually the transaction of all economic agents. It's actually the summary of what Ray Dalio told us in the video. But let's define what's micro and what's macro. Let's first start with macroeconomics. So, from the word itself, it's macro. So, technically, it's big. So, technically, it is talking about the aggregate economy. It talks about the whole economy. So, when we say aggregate, we're talking about the whole. On the other hand, we have the microeconomics, and that's what you call it micro, small. Okay? And here, we're actually looking at the set wherein you are understanding the behavior of the firm and you're understanding the behavior of household. If you have actually looked at the law of supply and demand, elasticity, well, it can be also done in a macro scale, but technically the origins of it is the micro scale. Because in economics, if you will go back to the model that I just showed you, everything is actually affecting one another. So both branches of economics, although they are separate by the scope of their study, is actually not separate from the idea where they're actually related. What is happening with the household and firm can actually have a significant effect from the rest of the world, banks, and from the government. That's the reason why I'm saying that choices is actually important in the study of economics. So that's it for today. I hope you understand the lesson and see you in the next video.